now we're up to the next session, talking about the action planning. Let's see if we get some sound from Florence too.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm Hellen, you heard from me before. And we have...
Okay, so for those who haven't met yet, so my name is Florence Augeard. I am from Safran Aircraft Engine, working at Corbeil on the procurement quality.
Yes, and I'm Jun Sakai from IHI.
Okay, so during yesterday and a bit today, you learned a lot about the different tools and how to use them and what they are and so on, but not until you kind of get them to get in action in your company, they create the real value. Because the tool as such isn't the value, it's the result, the outcome of the tool. And it's very easy to forget sometimes that that is the thing. So you learned yesterday one way of kind of identifying where should I start, what kind of tool to use in the beginning. Oops. Yep. But we wanted to present a kind of framework for a roadmap. Where do I start with zero defect? And we, Rolls-Royce has been kind enough to share this with us, and we think it's a great way of thinking. So if we look here, 5 different areas. For instance, parts. I'm sure you have parts, a lot of parts in your fabrication or site, where you have some that are quite good, no non-conformances really, and quite nice. And you have other ones that are more challenging. Why not start looking on the most challenging parts? If you have a new part, MPI, a work transfer into your site, you probably need to follow APQP PPAP requirements from the very beginning. You can introduce them kind of backwards into the legacy parts as needed, but look at your big parts first. But then we have the processes. I'm sure you have one process that might be more challenging than others that constantly gives you problem. If you attack that one with zero defect, it will also rub off to all the other parts that goes through the same process. So then you have a process perspective to that. And that could, of course, also include if you have a QMS process that kind of actually don't support the requirement at all. But then we have the people. We talked about human factor and all the things that our people actually add to this. Because a lot of issues actually comes from people that don't have the possibility to do right, of different reasons. And they are absolutely necessary for you to actually achieve this. The mindset we talked about, is it possible to get an ostrich to fly? So you need to address your people, the mindset, their engagement, to have that real we can do feeling. We will use the tools and we will get together and do this. Then we have the depth. What kind of manufacturing technologies or other technologies can you use to actually be better at something that is a problem? What can you introduce? We talked about Thomas talked yesterday about kind of, we have changed all of this. Do we have something more we can change, introduce something that makes it better? So one area might be manufacturing technologies. And finally, if you are responsible for your suppliers, some of you might not be, but if you are, you also need to flow down, make sense of the requirements and what zero defect is and means, because they deliver potentially defects to you that you have to eat. So consider what you do with your supply chain too. So that's all for me. You got a copy on your table of this wheel, so you can think that perhaps you will address these areas in your plan. And I leave it to you guys to help us.
Thank you very much, Hellen. Okay, so... Okay, so I will introduce a new exercise that we have prepared for you. So this is the last exercise, so I hope that you have still some energy, and it is very important. So you will have, this is how to apply what you have learned during those 2 days in the forum. So it's about to define a zero defect roadmap. So yesterday you have touched this with the exercise with the 3 scenarios, if you remember well. So now what we want is that you apply this to your own company. So this is the difference. Now it's real, and you will have to think about how is your company and what is the planning that you can launch. Okay, so you will say how to do it, how to start. This is the key question. So as we have presented yesterday, the first, we believe you need to have the vision. So you remember you draw some picture, okay? And so you need to understand where you stand in your company on some areas, and where do you want to be? Which company you want to go in the long term? So what we propose is to have a 3-step approach here for the exercise, and you can think about in your company. So first, to build this vision, you can select the top 3 priority areas that you want to improve in your company. So how to do this? So you have to think of what is the scenario in your company. So what about the product quality? So you manufacture parts. So are your customers satisfied about the product quality? You have all the data, you have the metrics, you have the scorecards. And so do you believe that it's too much escape, too much concession? So you need to figure out if it is satisfactory. Second point, it's what about your quality management system? Do you think it is robust enough? Do you still have some gap with IS 14100, for example? Do you think that you have some specific processes that you want to reinforce? Okay. After, a key point as well is the resources, as Hellen was saying. So you need people for that. So what about their knowledge? What about their quality mindset? Is there some room for improvement? So think about it. And as well, if you quality performance is not satisfactory, why? Is it because of human factors, or is it because your production process capability are not at the expected level? So what we want is that as you have limited resource and you need to be realistic, so you should think about the top 3 priority areas as the first step. When you define that, it's not sufficient, it's quite vague, still vague, and we propose that for each item, you come back with an action plan for the year, so it will be more concrete. Okay, so you can have a 3 or 4 action plan. And finally, as we have said that we want to create this movement, so we need really to start and to see a change. So we would like you to define immediate actions. So that will mean a time frame of 3 months, let's say. Okay? So now I believe that you have a table in your, you have the document in your table, so you will be able to start to write down some ideas. And just the last thing I could say, what is the goal of this exercise? So we know that you will not be able in 20 minutes or 30 minutes to define the zero defect action plan. That's for sure. So what we want is that this is a takeaway that you will bring in your own company, and that you can start to have good conversation with the other people, other organizations, not only within quality, but manufacturing engineering, program, technical, okay? And that you are convinced as well that the zero defect is something achievable. And if you are convinced, it will be more easier to convince the others. So now I will let Jun give you a little bit more guidance about the document.
Okay, thank you, Florence. So please, you may start writing in this format. This is a worksheet you have in each table, and everyone should have one sheet. So please start working, and we will have about 20 minutes to fill out. So it's just a limited time, so we don't ask you to fill in completely, but please follow Florence's guide to fill in each column. So first row is for the goals, your vision, targeting next 3 years, 2023. And the middle row should be plans or initiatives that you want to apply in the next 1 year. And finally, at the right-hand side, if you can identify some immediate action, then please write in those with due date or owners specific to your organization. And I think you can write those in with your language and from what you have learned. And so please remember what you have learned and try to fill. From those, please identify what the gaps or priority you want to identify. And hopefully you can break those down to immediate actions. So. And I think what I saw is there is a lot of action communicating with your management. I think that's one thing I found. And I think that is also, yeah. I think that's something that we may need, but yeah. And also I saw a lot of trainings, but I think all of those actions are, how to say, doable and realistic. So, any comment? Do you have any comment? Do you have any comment?
Yes, I've seen also some actions that it's to bring more different organizations in this forum, so which I think is good, that it's not internal quality, always quality people.
I guess a comment from me. Yesterday we heard something about being a leader and being a follower. Don't expect your leadership to always be leading. Sometimes it's better to make a small little revolution back home. To get the few persons together and just say, shouldn't we do a PFME here? Wouldn't that be great? And you start in that little corner, because then, if you're successful and you can show the actual value of that, you can show it to the leadership. Because I do believe that in some cases they really don't understand. They want to see what the real value is. So give them the value by doing it. Do it on the spare time on the side. But the leadership needs to follow on. But don't rely only on them. Rely on you.
Okay, then thank you for your feedback. And but we didn't have enough time, so please try to complete the worksheet while you are returning to your home. So the next question is, please give us an indication of your level of confidence that your zero defect project can be completed.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know we did this same question at the beginning of forum, but I hope this is our result. That will be great. Well,
So I think the result is great, really. I suggest that the 60% that are pro ones take all the other ones to a shake-up and no, help each other being convinced. Because this is about doing it together and help each other. And that's what AESQ is all about too. Thank you.
Thank you very much to you.